the email here that is featured in the screen of the project. An upcoming event that we are organizing, and soon we will announce the date and the agenda, is the first stakeholders and the industrial workshop. We're going to present the most mature results of the project to the industrial stakeholders. The topic is about threat reporting and what is the IRIS offer. Approximately by the end of February 2023, the project, the workshop will take place, and it will be in online format. So soon we're going to announce the dates and the agenda on the website, and also information will be shared through the IRIS stakeholders community. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanellopoulos. Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you. I would like now to invite Mr. Paris Alexandros Karipidis from Democritus University of Thrace to present Evident Project. Mr. Karipidis,
Yes.
please,
Hello,
you are
good morning.
welcome.
So you can see me, and now can you see my screen? And also me, probably yes. Okay, so hello everyone, good morning from Greece. My name is Karipidis Paris. I'm from Democritus University of Thrace in Greece, and I'm here today to present you the Evident Project. The agenda for my presentation, we are going through the project identity of the consortium, moving to the motivation and the scope of the project, and finally, I'm going to briefly present the use cases and the insights so far. So, starting from the project identity, Evident stands for behavioral insights and effective policy actions. It is a research innovation action funded under the program of Horizon 2020. Today, the project is in its 25th month, and it is expected to be finished by November 2023. The Evident Consortium consists of partners from all related areas, geographically spread over 5 European countries that are characterized by different cultures and fiscal situations. The consortium consists of universities, research institutes, and SMEs, and 2 energy companies. Regarding the project motivation, during the last few years, the European Union state members have put the energy efficiency at the center of the public dialogue as a countermeasurement to climate change and a response to dealing with energy poverty. The current model of greener investments is only sustainable if at the same time the citizens act more efficiently in terms of energy consumption. In this context, the European Union has set a clear target for the year 2030 of reducing the average consumption by a further 9% from the current levels. The citizens play a crucial role in this endeavor since, based on the European Statistical Agency, household energy consumption is over 28% of the total energy consumption. Thus, any pricing policies should be drawn in parallel with policies aiming to reduce energy demand by raising consumer awareness about the social and the economic effects of energy waste. In this context, the Evident Project aims at 4 specific objectives: raise awareness about energy efficiency and energy conservation, provide insights for the role of behavioral biases in energy consumption and citizens' decision-making, contribute to the empirical research through cutting-edge analytical tools, and finally propose new policy implications. In order to raise awareness, the Evident Project, the Evident Consortium designs and propose interventions based on behavioral analysis. Thus, we leverage tools such as home energy reports in in order to nudge consumers towards energy conservation, and at the same time we leverage serious games to raise awareness about consumers' right to repair their household appliances. To provide insights for the role of behavioral biases in energy efficiency, the Evident Consortium utilizes tools such as randomized control trials, surveys, and online experiments to conduct empirical research. In addition, the Evident project contributes to the empirical research since it uses state-of-the-art econometric and machine learning methodologies, provides open data and code for replicable results by third research groups, and by providing a platform that can be used for the design and the implementation of online lab experiments. Finally, the Evident Consortium contributes to new policy briefs through its dissemination activities. In this context, the consortium organizing and participating in events for raising the importance of behavioral biases in policy design. Moving on to the Evident use cases, through these 5 different use cases and a set of experiments, such as natural field experiments, quasi-experiments, serious games, the Evident project seeks to interpret individual factors and behavioral biases that lead energy consumption decisions. These are the 5 use cases. Let's have a closer look on each one of these. The first 2 use cases examines how specific low-cost behavioral-based interventions could potentially correct consumers' energy-related misperceptions and enhance energy efficiency. The aim of the first 2 use cases are to help consumers save energy and money through zero-cost interventions by leveraging consumption feedback and peer comparison nudges, and in the second phase, analyze the impact of these nudges on the energy consumption topic. Thus, within these 2 use cases, we designed 2 different experiments. In our first experiment, we implement a randomized control trial by delivering a home energy report to approximately 900 prosumers in Sweden every 2 weeks. The home energy reports contain information about their consumption, the consumer's consumption, and also information regarding peer comparison and energy consumption tips, as you can see on the top right of the page. That way, we examine if consumption feedback and peer comparison affects energy conservation. In the second case, we use data from a smart platform designed to gather information regarding the appliances of approximately 200,000 households in Greece. The platform is a digital, user-friendly energy use consultant that helps customers track their energy usage and informs them on how this energy is being shared between their appliances. The feedback of the platform includes personalized tips and suggestions to save money and energy. Based on our findings, home energy report seems to assist indeed consumers decrease their energy consumption by 5% and also decrease the energy they bought from the grid by 4%. In addition, we found that our interventions start to affect the prosumers almost 2 months after the outset. During the next period, the Evident partners will analyze the data collected by the smart platform. Moving on to the next use case. In this use case, we leverage machine learning methodologies to create efficient large-scale interventions. As we saw in the previous use case, our experiment led to 5% decrease in energy consumption. However, this amount was on average. This use case aims to estimate how each individual was affected by the intervention by considering its unique characteristics. That way, we can gain insights about our intervention and we can improve the implementation schemes, and in addition, maximize the effectiveness of our experiment. To do so, we designed a methodological framework that leverages the effectiveness of causal machine learning models in order to calculate the intervention effect in each individual, analyze their characteristics, and finally build a predictive model to scale up to new samples. Based on our findings, the intervention seems to mainly impact high energy consumers, meaning that the consumers with greater consumption on average and extreme values are able to further decrease their energy demand and consume less energy. The next use case of the Evident project aims to assess the relation between the energy consumption behavioral advices and financial literacy levels. The rationale for this use case comes from three areas understudied within the research. The first of these is the financial literacy, since the poor adoption of energy efficiency devices, despite the cost savings in the long term, is an example of how consumers frequently make decisions that do not maximize actually their own welfare. A further understudied area is that of rental properties, with 1/3 of the European Union citizens rents for their accommodation. While some analysis has been conducted for renters, further analysis on how factors such as financial literacy, attitude, and environmental literacy affects the consumer's decisions on purchasing new appliances. In addition, efforts to support consumers' right to repair their appliances has been highlighted also at the European Union level. So, within this use case, we developed a serious game in order to determine the factors on decisions to repair or replace household appliances across different resident types, and at the same time teach users and the participants how to make more effective repair decisions. The serious game itself, as you can see on the right, is a live simulation game where the player should take some everyday actions over the passing of the time. During the playtime, an appliance will break, and the user must decide whether to repair or replace it through a negotiation process that will take place between the user and the repairs person. Different options for the user will examine their willingness to pay for the repair of their appliances or replace the broken appliance with a new one. This use case is still on its development phase, and so the results will be available during the next period. Finally, the last Evident use case will examine the impact of demographic factors, financial and environmental literacy on discount rate and willingness to pay for more efficient household appliances. When making energy investment decisions, consumers often do not choose the option that maximize their welfare, often preferring the least expensive options, even if the cost is more over time. A factor that impacts such decisions is the temporal discounting. Discounting actually often results in the selection of appliances which are cheaper in the short term, but more expensive over time due to their lower energy efficiency. So, to develop policies to better support customers and consumers, a clear understanding of the factors that leads to effective decisions making is needed. Some factors that require further analysis are the motivations and the skills of the consumers and the information available at the decision points. Within this use case, an online survey were developed in order to elicit the factors that lead consumers' willingness to pay for more
Mr. Karipidis, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you please turn off your camera in order to avoid connection problems?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Within this use case, the final use case of the Evident project, an online survey were developed. Okay, no, this was explained. So this online survey, this discrete choice analysis, through this discrete choice analysis, the participants will have to choose between different appliances, presenting each time different types of information, such as the basic device information, for example, the capacity of a washing machine and the programs, and in addition, the operating costs and the energy ratings. Right now, this use case is also in its implementation phase, and the results are expected to be available during the next period. So that's all from my side. I don't know if you have any questions. I would be glad to answer. I guess you don't have anything. The link of the Evident project is available in my slides. Feel free to visit and enroll to our newsletter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karipidis, for the very interesting presentation. I would like to ask the participants if we have any questions. Otherwise, we can proceed to the next speaker. I would like to invite Mr. Dimitrios Kias, Senior Engineer at Net Company Intrasoft, to present the project Phoenix Pan-European EPES Incidents Information Sharing Platform.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Here
Mr.
it's
Good morning.
Yep. Good morning. I would like to ask if I have to have the camera open, or you'd like me to close it to save some bandwidth.
Mr. Skias, we couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Could you please repeat?
Yep. I was wondering if I have to have my camera open. Can you hear me?
I would suggest to turn off your camera in order to avoid technical problems and delays.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Just let me share my screen and I will proceed with the presentation. Okay. Can you see my screen and the slides changing?
We cannot still see something.
You cannot see my screen? But can you hear me?
We can hear you. We cannot
okay. Let me
see
just
your presentation.
Okay, let me just share the screen again. Sorry for that. Maybe now?
Yes. Now we can see your presentation. You
And the
can
slides
start.
moving, right? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Dimitrios Kias. I work in Net Company Intrasoft as a senior software engineer. And today I will present to you, in the context of Phoenix project, the Pan-European EPES incidents sharing platform that we built in a Pan-European level. So a few words about also Phoenix project. Phoenix project it was an innovation action project, ended recently. It had a duration of approximately 3 years. So we concluded our activities actually last month. And the context of this presentation is to present to you actually the I2SP, the Incidents Information Sharing Platform, that resides at the top, let's say, layer of the Phoenix architecture and aims to interconnect various EPES electrical power energy systems and try to, let's say, enhance the cybersecurity protection offered by the platform. So in this figure, actually, you can see the placement of this I2SP platform. It interconnects, as I said before, EPES electrical power energy systems. So we are talking about the energy domain now. And also worth mentioning that Phoenix is also part of the Cyber EPES cluster. So a relevant presentation was performed yesterday. And we try to contribute to this cluster as well. So the I2SP interconnects the various interconnected, let's say, participating EPES systems and provides advanced coordination communication functionality, aims to capitalize on the cyber threat intelligence data that are communicated and gathered and collected locally by each EPES cluster, and then return back some valuable information and reach, let's say, sort of CTI data, and also communicate this information to the relevant European cybersecurity authorities. For this to work, a Phoenix instance is deployed locally in its EPES system, and the communication of the information is performed securely, let's say, through this so-called SPC layer, that is a distributed ledger-based channel that provides for privacy and integrity. So based on this information that I2SP collects, provides some European cybersecurity awareness, promotes the awareness, and we use standardized formats, perform an analysis, and then machine learning-based analysis, and then some countermeasures and some early alarms are generated and communicated back to the interested stakeholders. Okay, so the objectives in detail of the I2SP platform was to collect this information in a secure, trusted way, as we said before, to also contribute in the objective of the analysis by implementing this machine learning framework for processing this information and building on top of the collected data, and then to define and generate some countermeasures and coordination actions, and present this information through a unified dashboard to visualize the relevant information to the eligible parties that participate to the Phoenix project. For this, in order to design it effectively and also from the beginning, but also during the duration of the project, we constantly review the relevant EU cybersecurity regulatory framework, consisting from many material and initiatives, starting from the EU cybersecurity strategy. I would just highlight a few key, let's say, facts that are described within this framework. So, on one hand, at the beginning, through this EU cybersecurity strategy, there is the need described, the need of building a cyber shield. So, this is a network for cooperating, for communicating CTI data within SOCs, within security operation centers. It's sort of very important. And then again, with this the NIS directive and NIS2 directive, the next update of the first initiative directive, there was underlined the need to create an information sharing and cooperation, let's say, framework for collaborating and addressing crisis in the energy domain. Also, this underlined by the creation of EU Cyclone, which is a cyber crisis liaison organization network, but most importantly through the NCCS, the Network Code for Cybersecurity, that was authored by MSOE and relevant cluster participating there. We underline the need for cross-border, let's say, governance for cybersecurity risk management, and this also indicates the need to have a proper risk assessment, the risk classification procedures run even beforehand, and then there's also the need to collaborate and coordinate at the pan-European level in order to be more effective and enhance the awareness of with respect to cybersecurity incidents. So analyzing a little bit here the objectives that are realized by the I2SP with respect to collecting the information and then sharing it to the interconnected parties. The CTI data, the cyber threat intelligence data, are structured in a standardized format. Here we use STIX version 2.1 that contains in a structured manner a lot of different information, including for example, the campaign, the attack or the incident falls in, the pattern, the location, maybe, and countermeasures and mitigation actions as well. We have also integrated into the I2SP NISP instance, that is a common tool, a common threat sharing platform, commonly used by the cybersecurity authorities in a pan-European level. And the communication is, let's say, protected and driven by these so-called trusted circles, a notion that we derived from MLCERT's cybersecurity platform, and it actually is a way to define specific policies and rights between the participating organizations, either this be, for example, the EPES owners or the cybersecurity authorities at the national and European level. It doesn't matter, but we need to have, let's say, the way to share this information, and this is verified also by a manifest that we have authored in order to agree the participating parties in a way that the information should be handled and treated, and who would have the authorization to review this information, take action upon. With respect to the analysis, which is also very important part in the I2SP, because we collected various, let's say, threats and attacks and incidents in general by the participating infrastructure, but we need to build on top of this information or provide high quality data. So I2SP realizes machine learning computations in two flavors, let's say. The first one concerns the data that are gathered by the EPES systems, and then we run on this information machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So for analyzing this information, we take advantage of features such as the geographical allocation of the affected area, then maybe the time window also of a potential attack that we consider to be a coordinated one, and also, for example, administrative entities that could be affected, in order to provide some insights on these threats, and also reveal even unknown yet coordinated attacks that are not captured beforehand. Also, we participate in the I2SP participates in the federated learning schema. So here the I2SP acts as the secure aggregator of specific machine learning models, and this. So for this part, we collect the weights of relevant models that are trained locally and aim to detect and help on the detection actually of the incidents that have been monitored locally. And through the I2SP actually succeeds to enhance, let's say, the accuracy of these models and provides for federated learning as well. Then, with respect to the countermeasures and coordination and alarm generation process, here the relevant module, let's say, called CAG for abbreviation of this functionality, and focuses on potential incidents and attacks and generate traceable, actionable alarms. It capitalizes and uses actually predefined pan-European attack trees that describe a coordinated attack. So it's a node in such a tree describes a step of a coordinated attack, and then we also include information, cascading effects, related information, and we try to enhance, let's say, this attack trees with impact assessment information as well, with respect to the affected infrastructure. And then this information are fed to this myriad tool that is a multi-criteria decision support tool in order to be able to produce meaningful mitigation actions and countermeasures that try to address a particular attack. So myriad operations, in short, rely on efficiency of a mitigation action once applied, and also takes into account the attack's impact on the infrastructure. So the efficiency actually is the residual risk once the attack mitigation is applied. So we see how effective is mitigation action, and the impact related to the attack includes a lot of information, including financial related, human risk, resource, let's say, costs for applying the mitigation, etc. And then once these mitigation actions and countermeasures are generated, are communicated back through the SERIC engine to the participating authorities. Finally, we have implemented a dashboard that is operated by authenticated, let's say, an authorized operator, and supports interactive visualization of the identified attacks. So the identified attacks are visualized in a map. I will showcase a little bit later some screenshots of this dashboard, and also provides report aggregates for the CTI information that is collected by the I2SP. And we can also have a full page overview of an attack, including the identified attack, the timing, the impact category, and also some characteristics of the affected infrastructure. We can also have graphical reports that could also include historical information, etc. And there is also a way to manage the relationship of the interconnected organization and define the so-called trusted circles for and the relevant policy for communicating this information to the partners. Here is a screenshot of the dashboard. Actually, here we have an issue. We have an event, a coordinated attack that we see a series of attacks affecting various parts in southern Europe, so forth. And we can see in the middle of the screen the locations affected, and we can see also the risk that combines the probability of the attack actually affecting the system, and also includes the relevant costs that have been described beforehand in order to have this risk. And we have the value without the mitigation action, and what is the residual risk after applying the mitigation actions. We can also provide more detailed information on a particular attack, and we can see what is the risk before and after applying some mitigation actions. And this is all visible to the user. And also, as I said before, the users have and operators, so they can also manage the relevant information that describe the communication between each trusted circle. And here we can define and add organizations and set relevant policy, let's say, needs. So at the end, what is the I2SP? I2SP is a distributed, decentralized system, interconnected, focusing in energy domain, but can be extended to cover different domains as well. It interconnects the EPS systems and try to provide high quality CTI information at the pan-European level, identify, coordinating the cascading effects. It also involves machine learning operation for the analysis. And at the end, we think that it succeeds to provide advanced coordination communication between the interconnected parties, enhance the pan-European cybersecurity awareness, and also having also in mind for the development of this platform, the relevant cybersecurity regulatory framework that we will try to facilitate through our tool. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer it.
Mr. Skias, thank you very much for your presentation. If we have any questions. Okay. In that point, I would like to ask you for a 10-minute break in order to resolve some technical problems in our connection. We will get back after 10 minutes sharp in order to start with the next presentation of Trusty project by Mr. Emanuel Spanakis. Thank you for your understanding.